Okay, so you, like me, took apart your 7-speed rapid fire Shimano shifters, the thumb shifters, and don't know how to put them back together anymore. I'm gonna go and try and show you how to do it. Um, I say this because I took them apart, couldn't put them back together, did some research only after the fact, and realized that, first of all, my problem was easily solved without taking it apart. But I'm sure you've seen videos of that already. Um, so it took a few attempts, but I was able to put it back together. So I'm just hoping this video helps someone out there. So I'm not a professional videoer. I'm just hoping that this can help someone out there. So I'm going to move my phone a little closer and show you what we're working with. First of all, just to point out, this is the culprit of most of the issues, but you've probably already seen the videos. This guy right here, it goes this way. The grease that they put on here gets gummed up just over time, and the little prawl will not return the way it's supposed to, so you get that dead action on your shifters. This has been sitting in penetrating oil PB Blaster all night, so it's nice and ready. This is how far I took apart the shifters. So this little shifting mechanism guy, I didn't take it apart any further. I suppose you could. I hope you didn't. So that's kind of what it looks like. Again, that's been sitting in PB Blaster all night, so it should be nice and clean, ready to go. Because I'm gonna re-grease, and I'm gonna use silicone grease. I really like silicone grease. That guy right there. I don't care about your comments. If you don't like that grease, if that's not the right grease, you're not supposed to take these shifters apart in the first place. So I'm just going for it. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to take the lower portion. I'm gonna move some stuff out of the way. The lower portion, which is this one right here. That's what houses the main shifting body. As you can see, this video angle is not great, I'm sorry. You can see right there, that's where your cable adjustment nut would go into. And so that's what lets you line up your mechanism with this guy. So hopefully you understand that pretty quickly. And this goes like this. You drop that right in there. Again, you're lining that up right there. So just go right ahead and drop it in. Yep, that looks good. Okay. Now I'm not, exactly sure as to the sequence here, but as long as that right there is lined up, you know that you have it clocked correctly. So now we'll take the other side of the cover. Just kind of snaps into place. Mine doesn't hold all that tightly, but it kind of snaps in place. So now your shifter kind of looks like this. Not too bad. So right now I'm gonna take this, again, this bolt mechanism that is for cable adjustment, and I'm gonna just thread it in just a little bit. Hard to do this with gloves. And that's just so that the two halves are kind of held together by something. It's not critical that you get that right away. Okay, so now that's what we look like. Not too shabby. So the next part is really the hard part, but before I get there, I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on this mechanism. This is where, if you don't like this grease, you're gonna close your eyes. So give me 1 second while I move my grease around. There's a crazy person yelling on the street. Hopefully you can't hear them. Okay, I'm gonna use a little more grease. If this bike that I'm putting this in is still alive in 10 years, somebody might either bless my name for using good grease, or hate me for using grease that is not what they wanted. Again, just try to get the grease in all the spots. I don't think it's particularly easy to do. Okay, so now I'm just hoping that with, you know, triggering the shifters that grease is going to move around. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. You tell that I'm wearing one glove and not on the other. My right hand is going to be my more dexterous hand, so hang in there. Okay, now to the hard part. First of all, there's this little guy, just a little collar with a little opening, I guess. That's for the small or the skinny lever, or I suppose the downshift lever. So before I do that, you can actually slip it on after, even though it goes below the lever, you can actually slip it on after the fact. So I'm gonna wait till the next step. So now this little lever has a little brass washer. So you go brass washer, then you put your bushing in place. That's pretty easy. I'm gonna turn this up again. Okay, so this drops right, oops, I think I'm right. Oh, I'm sorry, I have it upside down. With that L-shaped thing pointing down, my bad. Again, I haven't done this a million times. So you get your brass and your bushing put in place. Then you set it down. And sometimes the bushing kind of comes out, so you gotta jiggle it in place, and then eventually it'll drop. So I'm using my thumb right here to hold it down. Right now it's all the way down the way it's supposed to go, and I can actuate it. And you can kind of feel, it's already at the bottom, so it's not clicking, but you can feel that it's doing its job, and so that's good. The next step might be a little bit controversial, so I'm gonna put this down. From the other lever, I'm gonna pop out the bushing. I'm gonna put it on the shaft, just like that. I'm gonna take the nut that you took off at the very beginning, and that's actually a left-handed nut. So if it's not threading, it's because you're turning it the wrong way. So just give it a couple turns. The only reason I'm doing it is so that I don't have to hold the lever down, because I am putting the spring on it, and this spring is actually pretty hard. And if you don't get this spring right, actuating this lever is going to work, but it's not going to return, and you need it to return. So that's what I'm going to do here. So just, you know, get it nice and on there. Make sure that that lever is going to stay in place. Okay, so you can't quite see it here, but let me try to get it closer to the camera and clean off a little shiny grease. Right here, you can see a divot. So your spring is going to rest on that divot and on this divot right there, right there. So here, it's hard to see it through the lens. Here, that's one spot where it grabs, and here, that's the other spot where it grabs. Okay. So again, looking at it from the front, here's my spring. So you want that foot, that little 90-degree leg pointed down like this. And you're gonna put it right here. So hopefully my camera work is not terrible now, because I need to concentrate. So first, you wanna put that right there, and you can't tell, but it's pretty high up, and I need it to be pushed down. But if I push it down too far, this leg right here will go under the lever. So it's kind of you're doing two things at the same time. So you want to get that nice and low, because that notch that I showed you earlier actually gives you just a little bit extra room. But you want to make sure that this guy doesn't go under the lever, because then you have to start over. So I don't know how the best method to do this is. I'm using my pick and a little bit of luck. So good luck with that. And give me just a second. I should have it here in a second. Obviously, the side effect of using grease is that you have greasy hands, and anything you do is going to be difficult. But Such is life. Be very careful. I doubt they sell replacements for these. So, you know, you only have one shot at not breaking it. I've tried doing the leg first and the U second. That didn't help me, so hang with me while I try to get this done. Maybe a flathead screwdriver will help. Alright, of course, I had a much easier time when I wasn't recording, but that's alright. Again, try to get it nice and low so that it catches that notch that we talked about, and that's just going to give you just maybe a millimeter of extra room to work with. Oh, I almost had it. Darn it. Okay, I'm sure you're appreciating my commentary as I struggle here. So I think right about now is when you start appreciating why I put this nut in place. That lever would be moving all over the place if it wasn't for that. Oh man. Almost have it. Okay, next try, I'll get it. I'll make sure to edit and let you know what spot to skip forward to. As you can tell, my lever has a lot of scratches there from trying to get this spring where it belongs. Oh, come on, baby. Alright, other gloves coming off. We have a saying at work, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And that's true right now. Hopefully I'm not making you too dizzy. Okay, you only have to get it once. Wow, what a show. Hopefully you have a little bit better luck. I'm just picking it up so I can have it at eye level. I guess I can't exactly show you how to do it. Wish I could. Every single, the 2 or 3 times that I put this, that I've taken it apart and put it back together, this has been the spot where it takes the longest. Oh, now I got this caught below the lever. Well, alright, let me try again. I'm still here, still fighting it. All right, I got it. Sweet. Whew. Okay, so that's what it's gonna look like, and you know, you're on your own on how to get it on there. I eventually got it by putting the U-shape first in place, then pulling on this area with my pick, and then just got it to drop in there. But hopefully it doesn't take you 10 minutes like me. That's what it looks like. It's all the way at the bottom on that notch. It's all the way in there on that notch, nice and secure. Okay, so now we can move on to the next lever. Now, if right here, if you activate the lever, it feels the return is much stronger than it felt before, and that's what you need. All right. So now, before you take out this nut, again, you want to hold that lever down. We're gonna take. I talked about that guy right there. So that guy goes like this, and you're gonna put it over the lever. And then once you get here, you're just gonna have to not force it, but pull it by, and it kind of is like a bushing around the lever. So once you get it under there, it's pretty obvious kind of how it all fits together. So I'll let you figure that one out. So now our lever looks like this. Not too bad. So now again, this is just hand tight, so you should be able to loosen it. Again, left-handed thread, so backwards of what you normally do. Pull that out. Pull this out. Now be really careful. The lever is sort of held in place now by the spring. That spring was really hard to take off, so you know, be careful. So now we go to the next lever, which is this guy right here. This goes pointed down like this. You're gonna have a little bit of problem with this guy because that has to slip into this area right here, but because of the spring, it doesn't want to stay out to slide in. It wants to move up. So it's gonna take a little bit of wiggling. Normally, nope, don't forget your bushing. Bushing always comes from the top, so it goes like this with your prowl at the bottom. Make sure that the spring is aligned correctly. If you spent enough time with these, you know what I mean. So normally I just try to put it in there. Then once I get it to slide a little bit, maybe with a pick, move the prowl, and you can see when it slid all the way down. So that was actually pretty easy time. Now, without even putting the nut on it, you can try the mechanism now. And the prowl needs to slide into place. So, you see that? You can hear it. Nice. And then try the other one. Nice. Okay. Now it looks like this. Now from here, it's pretty easy sailing. Now what you want to do is you want to take the other spring right there. The U-shaped of the spring goes right here, and the 90-degree foot, so this guy, needs to be pointed upwards. So this one is actually super easy. So you're just gonna place it like I said. U-shaped goes on the lever. The 90-degree bend goes for pulling up. Okay. So you just kind of let it sit in place, not a big deal. Doesn't have to be oriented particularly well. Then you're gonna take that guy right there, and it actually goes like this, I'm sorry. Okay? You're gonna put it over the shaft, and it only goes in one way. So you just kind of put your thumb over it. Right now it's on the shaft, but the spring is below and it won't let it sit all the way. I'm gonna turn it over and see if I can give it a good look. So it kind of looks like that. So just with your pick or whatever you're using, kind of get that leg to be on the cavity. Okay. So now that washer will go all the way down. We're almost done. So you put your nut back in. I'm not actually sure how tight this should be, so you might want to try different things. I know that when I took it off, it was basically hand tight. So I wouldn't take your biggest wrench and just go at it. But you know, I'm just gonna take a nut driver and give it a little tension. If I need more, I'll do more. We're almost done. So now that your washer is in place and the nut is holding everything together, this part of the spring actually goes in this cavity right here, and that makes a lot of sense. So all you gotta do is just grab it with a pick. Oops. Grab it with a pick and just push it in. Just like that. Not too bad. Okay. Now your lever should be all the way good. It's kind of hard to do this with my greasy hands, but you can hear it clicking, and you know that's a good sound. So I'm gonna add a little bit more grease. So that's all just for me. Again, don't care about your opinions on grease. That's what I'm gonna do. Just a couple more dabs, hoping that kind of moves around there later. We're almost done now. So now all you got is your cover right here, and this cover goes like that. So you're gonna put your cover in place. You're gonna put your little baby screw that hopefully you haven't lost. You're gonna tighten it. All right, and there you are. Your shifter is ready to go. Hopefully this helps. Bye-bye.